Welcome back. It's me, Teacher Mike from phuketpals.org. Today we have Mac in the house. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am amazing today.
Wow.
In this particular podcast, what we're going to be talking about is overcoming the fear of language barrier. This is a subject close to the heart of many students in our school here at Phuket Pals and throughout the world. Now, you're a second language English learner.
Exactly.
So, did you ever feel afraid speaking English?
Yeah. At first, I feel like, okay, I just think about I have to think more what should I speak and what should I explain to native speaker or to the others to make it understand. And so the first thing is that's the most the big stone for me. It's the fear and what to call is kind of the barrier of the language.
Language barrier?
Yeah, the language barrier. So it's it takes time to think sometimes with the things that I really want to say but I don't know how can I say or what should I say instead of and then just it made me feel bad at that time. So it's really hard to communicate, and it's really hard also to get in the deeper knowledge.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a difficult situation for students because there's so many students who try very hard, not only in the classroom but also independently. So they could be spending hours every evening listening on websites like BBC learningenglish.com or things like, we'll recommend some of these websites later actually that are good. But then when they actually get into a situation where they have to talk to someone in English, very often they find that their words are just and they don't come out. That's because they're lacking fluency, and they're different skills when you're learning a language. You have receptive skills and productive skills. Receptive skills are the skills that when you take in information. So that's when you're listening. You're listening to something and bringing that information into your brain. When you're reading, you're looking at something and bringing that information into your brain. And those skills are of a different skill set than productive skills. Productive skills are speaking and writing. You have to bring stuff out as opposed to bring stuff in. If you don't, as you well know, or as everyone knows, if you don't speak for a while or if you don't write for a while, what happens?
You're gonna forget it.
Exactly, anyway. And you turn into a
because you don't know it's about the consistency, how more frequent you use or how more you speak, and the more you practice is gonna make you more perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because based on my experience, so the things that the first thing I start myself to learn is try to listen, the listening skills, because since was born, we cannot speak as well. We cannot speak since the first time we was born. But the things that the first perception is the listening. So it's gonna be just make it flooding into your brain, and then you know how to learn. And after that, so it's just and after listening, just try to speak. And after listening, so it's gonna be naturally learning, because we listen first and then we just speak after, we just repeat after after our parents they teach us to how to speak, and same thing, and it's the same way. And after that, you just go through reading, because you're gonna and after you speak, after you listen, so you're gonna get lots of words, and then just reading. So you're gonna get more knowledge from the reading, and then you can find some kind of the meaning or the style, or maybe how to write. So because you're gonna memorize the things or the style, the writing style, from the reading from the books.
Okay, well we're drifting slightly not off topic, but we need to keep focused here in this short video. So in terms of your experience as a second language learner, which of these things did you find helped you the most to overcome your fear of the English language and using it?
So for the thing, I just set just a small goal, the small achievement every day, Like, okay, I'm gonna speak myself in front of the mirror just 3 minutes or just 1 minute.
Really?
Yes, that's it. Before the beginning of the day, like in a bathroom, just speaking out, like just one sentence or one word. And
that's interesting. I often encourage IELTS students to practice IELTS speaking in the bathroom mirror, because there seems to be, sorry to jump in, but there seems to be in Thailand, there seems to be a kind of, I don't know whether it's linked to culture or whether it's just that, well, it must be. Very often my students tell me, I say to them, why don't you go to a coffee shop and, with your friend or whatever, a tea room, and why don't you just practice IELTS speaking? They said, we couldn't do that. If people heard us speaking English, they'd think that we're trying to be cool and they wouldn't. Is there any truth in that?
Yeah, that might be true, because like it's gonna be like some kind of the others gonna look at us like it might be weird.
Why would they care?
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I mean, but now I overcome it. I can speak. I can't do it everywhere. And and because in the morning your brain is so fresh to get the new thing into yourself. So and another thing's why taking a shower, so just open podcasts like just 3 or 5 minutes a day.
Without electrocuting yourself, of course.
Yeah. No, to just put it in the dry place or just
Our next podcast can be overcoming electrocution in the shower. No, don't do that. Yeah, okay. So podcasts in the shower, morning, kind of a kind of ritualized, kind of speaking into the mirror for practice. Yeah. I like it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not only like kind of the academic podcast, but it's also whatever podcast, but it just focus on English.
Okay.
Like just English speaking.
So let's get down to brass tacks, as the idiom says. Let's name some of these podcasts. Let's name some of these websites that in our experience have helped kids overcome this fear of speaking English or using English in general. What do you recommend?
So my recommendation podcast. So my favorite one is All Ears English. So
All Ears?
Yeah, allearsenglish.com.
Okay.
Yep, it's available in both of the podcasts in Apple, so you can subscribe in Apple, iTunes, and also in Google Podcast. You just type it in, because the 2 American girls, Lindsay and Michelle, just 2 girls, and then they just made it like short or just simply conversation and teach you like kind of how to improve yourself or how to overcome your IELTS score or how to increase the IELTS score. And another one is the VOA, Voice of America. And
that's old school.
Yeah, that's old school, but yeah.
That's up there.
It's good, yeah.
If you're going to recommend VOA, then you have to recommend, I suppose,
the BBC.
BBC World Service.
It's the old school too.
It is indeed, and there have been people throughout the last throughout the last 100 years, let's say. There have been people in very strange outposts of the world. Like I know a guy who worked in the desert in Oman.
Oh wow!
And he said that in the 1960s, 1950s, 1960s, when they were searching for oil in Oman, they're in the middle of nowhere, but they could still get a shortwave frequency of the World Service. So there are many people around the world who have been in precarious and strange situations that have VOA and BBC World Service, quite close to their heart, and that includes second language learners as well. Okay, that's cool. They're good. What do I recommend? Well, website-wise, BBC Learning English is it's you need to be on there if you're trying to learn English. It's got it's got everything. There's a magazine on there. You've got lots of cool little podcasts. You've got little series on there. There's podcast series that have been going on for years. There's good grammar parts to the website. Good pronunciation parts. Yeah, so bbclearningenglish.com is a staple of anyone.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I also highly recommend, and I have done for years, it's called 6 Minute English, BBC 6 Minute English.
Okay.
This goes up to, if you're any higher than intermediate plus on the European Framework for Languages, I wouldn't go to it. But anything, if you're pushing up from elementary up to pre-intermediate up to intermediate, BBC 6 Minute English is amazing. each week has a different topic. It could be anything. It could be like making movies. It could be I don't know, like my favorite T-shirt, or so. It could be any kind of topic at all.
Yep.
But it's like a radio show. So there are two guys that usually speak, or there's a woman sometimes as well, and they have a question and answer kind of radio style conversation.
Yeah.
Now, while you're listening to that, you can also read a PDF of the same thing, and they highlight the core vocab from each one, so you can learn the vocabulary before the lesson.
Yep.
See it used in context, because remember, language means absolutely nothing without context.
Yeah, exactly.
Meaning is use and all that. So then you read it in the PDF, and students have come back to me year after year after year and saying, I've got more out of BBC 6-minute learning English than pretty much anything else. There's also a really cool podcast. You may not know this one. It's a little bit left field.
Yeah, it's a little bit new for me.
This is called Luke's Luke Luke's English Podcast. This is he's an English guy. But he lives in France, I think it is. He's actually a stand-up comedian, but he's also an English teacher, and he's been doing this for years. I'm sure it's 10 years already. His podcast is hilarious, very, very funny, and also you can learn a lot from it. Anything up to advanced plus level C1, C2, you can get something from this. So they're my recommendations, and my final one for students, whether they be in Thailand or wherever else, about overcoming these fears of.
Yes.
It's just a matter of facing the fear head on.
Yes.
And pushing through that. Because as I'm sure you will back me up here, once you push through a number of times and find someone who's a native speaker or a high-level non-native speaker that you can practice with, that fear disappears. It kind of dissolves, and all of a sudden you find yourself speaking more fluently than you ever thought you could.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Is that about right?
Yeah, is that right, exactly? Because you just set just the small challenges and just improve yourself every day. Try to practice every day or speaking every day. So yeah, it's gonna make you more fluency in English.
Okay.
Also, yeah.
That's cool. That's about it then. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
That's it. That'll do. Okay, so if you've got this far in the video, I take my hat off to you. You are resilient and have extremely good concentration. If you haven't, well, you won't hear me saying this, so never mind. As I say, if you find this useful, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that little bell, because that little bell will make you a very smart person indeed. It'll give you videos. It'll give you videos beamed as if by magic into your YouTube account, and you can get to know us better here at Phuket Pals. Hit us with any questions in the comment below and all of that stuff. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye bye.